The world is in chaos, like you very rightly said. And what advice would you give to a youngster studying in Sri Lanka with so much of currency issues, the taxing issues, because of to bring some stability into the system, and of course political instability. Or just one simple advice would you give to a youngster just starting the MBA program?
Okay. Am I there?
Yes, sir. Very,
Oh,
very
wonderful.
clear.
Thank you. You see, I am no stranger to Sri Lanka. My mom, when I was growing up, she spoke fluent Sinhala. Of course, she had a little, Udarata Nona Mahanuara kind of accent, but she spoke fluent Sinhala. So I grew up, listening to that. And when you acquire a language like that, especially from your mother, you also pick up a lot of the culture and the history behind it. I'm no stranger to Sri Lanka. And what I best love about Sri Lanka, of course, you have a lot more than we have in the Maldives. Anything from mountains to your beaches. You drop a seed anywhere, it grows, except maybe in the central area. You have your gems, you have your rivers. Above all, you have your people. And I will always trust my people there. Oh, sorry, I said my people. Yeah, okay, you'll allow me that. And Sri Lanka has seen a lot. There was a time when they said that it was a hit and miss thing before the Japanese came and bombed Colombo. That was the Second World War. Things have happened. And believe you me, I trust my Sri Lanka and its people. Whoever it is that asks this question, trust yourself, trust your Sri Lanka, trust the people there, trust the spirit that moves Sri Lanka. You guys are going to come out of it. The advice is trust yourself. Be there, be strong. You're going to come out of the mess that not just Sri Lanka, that all of us are in. The idea is not to sit down somewhere and mope. The idea is to go out there and do what you can. That always helps. Believe you me, please have faith in this. We're all going to come out of this and we're going to be stronger.
Government as a civil servant and as a statesman for 35 years. Some positions he has filled include Assistant Director at the Ministry of Education, Head of the Department of Public Examinations, and the Director General of the Ministry of Information, Arts and Culture. He has also been the member of the Advisory Council to the President of the Republic, Official Government Spokesman, Deputy Minister for Finance and Treasury, and the Commission of Elections. He has also served as a nominee country representative at various international and regional conferences, meetings, and workshops all over the world. He is now a member of the Linguistic Committee of the Kalaavehi Language Academy. He has won Maldivian and international awards, including the Munishi Premchand Fellowship Award, which is a Satya Akademi India 2080, the SARC Literary Award, and the Maldives Society for Performing Arts prestigious Diamond Tower Honor Award, a Lifetime Achievement Award in 2015. In 2020, he was awarded the Maldivian National Award of Honor for Distinguished Service to the Kalaavehi language and culture. In addition to being an academician, writer, and a poet, he is an accomplished musician, a lyricist, and composed of various national events, and is keen environmentalist as well as a television personality. Ladies and gentlemen, the former Deputy Minister and Finance Treasury, former Assistant Director, Minister of Education, the former Election Commissioner, Government of Maldives. His pen name is Ogaru, is Ibrahim Waheed Kalaavehi. Ladies and gentlemen, he's a fantastic, outspoken person. I met him last week at the marketing summit, and I realized that he's more a marketing person than what he actually projects himself to be. And it's my absolute honor to hand over to my very good friend Ibrahim Waheed. So over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Do you get my audio is my first question.
Yeah, very, very clear, sir. And I'm sorry, I forgot to mention one thing. He has also served the Sri Lankan election monitoring mission, and he was heading. Thank you very much, sir. Very, very uh, distinguished personality, and a lot of Sri Lankans who when they saw this on multimedia, all my friends, including the people in the government, I switched on to listen to you. So they are on three platforms. One is the platform here, which is only for the MBA students. Then we have another platform which is on Facebook, and then we also have on other Meta channels. So you have a whole army of people listening to you. So over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. And you know, the way we are dealing with each other these days, I've been there from the beginning, but then I realized that I wasn't coming across to you. So I did listen to your message. I did listen to Dr. Bharti Singh's message, and I found it extremely encouraging. So thank you again, and thank you very much. But today I'll make it, I think, my duty to address your students mostly. But before I do that, I must tell you that you have complimented me much more than I deserve. So I am slightly embarrassed and, of course, grateful for your kind words. So thank you again, Dr. Atukorula. But let me talk to you, students, and very, very informally at that, if you wouldn't mind. So here we go. Now, you know, we've all heard that you're doing your MBA, but then standing right in front of you is something that I call the double whammy of today, which is one, COVID-19, we're trying to get out of it, and the war in Ukraine. Of course, COVID-19 taught us a few lessons. Number one, this thing called Homo sapiens sapiens is one species, not multiple species. That a virus neither recognizes nor is stopped by borders, ethnicity, faith, differences in the Gini index amongst nations, or other such differences. Also, COVID-19 taught us that disruptions in the global supply chains affect more people than you would have thought. That the world economy is in bad shape. Yes, commodity prices, inflation, they are at best doing what we call crazy things. And speaking about global supply chains and information, I mean, inflation, is the war in Ukraine helping us any? Any help it gives us is probably providing us with a few wake-up calls. And then we have things happening to us, the recent spate of earthquakes. But is this the first time that the world has faced a situation like this? No, I don't think so. Think of the following. In recent history, what did European colonization do to the rest of the world? What did the big world wars do, both of them? What did little events like the Cold War, the Arab-Israeli conflict, 9/11, the war on terror, the Asian tsunami, what did they do? You see, the takeaway there is that things happen, and things will continue to happen. And when things happen, the status quo changes. That's just about all. And it is up to us to approach things with focus and with a positive mindset. Let me cite an example from the Maldives. This might be sensitive to some people, but do bear with me. It's all in good spirit. Let me set the scenario. In the Maldives, independence from the British, 1965. Keep that date in mind. 3 years later, it changes from being a sultanate, that's a kind of kingdom, to a republic, 1968. At that point in time, what are considered and what are still considered the main staples of the country, rice, flour, sugar, they were all imported. Mind you, there was no tourism. The only foreign exchange earner was Maldive fish. Umbalakata to you. You may guess who the only importer was. No marks for guessing that. Meanwhile, in Sri Lanka, I'm no expert on that. I'll leave the details and corrections to the experts. But 1970 saw a few changes in the system in Sri Lanka, from constitutional changes, sea changes in the banking sector, governance system, and thus the main economy and the import-export milieu of Sri Lanka. This word import had a drastic effect on the Maldives because the Maldives lost its only umbilical market. But what was happening in the global arena? Again, I'm no expert. Please correct me. But consider the Yom Kippur War. This was the 70s. The OPEC oil embargo, which resulted in skyrocketing oil prices for those times. You see, this affected fuel-dependent third world countries, including the Maldives and Sri Lanka, especially. Now, my question at that point in time is, did the world economy ever go back to pre-1973 days, for example? No, it didn't, never did. So back to the Maldives. So now, with no market for the Maldive fish, we did not have the money to buy the main staples, the rice, the flour, the sugar from overseas. We scraped the bottom of the national coffers and had to survive on something that we never ate before, corn. Some people call it maize. Believe me, we almost starved, some of us. So back to approaching things with focus and a positive mindset. Our leaders were wise enough to do the following. 1, our relationship with Sri Lanka was never severed. We understood why the Sri Lankan government of the time had to do what it had to do. We tried to survive on corn. For rice eaters, that was pretty difficult, okay? The fishing industry immediately diversified. We fast-tracked it into exporting canned and frozen fish to different markets globally. We also encouraged the Japanese market to come in and buy fresh fish directly from our fishermen. The seeds of the tourism industry were planted. We moved operations of the kind of like 70 plus shipping fleet, like how many? Yeah, 70 something. The headquarters of the Maldives shipping lines from Colombo to Sri Lanka, from Colombo to Singapore. The rest is history. You know that. Remember what I said? Things happen. They always do. And it is up to us to maintain a positive mindset and take it from there. The Sri Lanka Maldives story is a good example, I feel. You see, if bad feelings were allowed space, if hate mongers had any say, and especially if reality is left in the hands of a few, evil characters to twist as they want, after what we call the 1970s corn days, or even later, the 1988 November 3rd incident, do you reference on that one? If we take that into our hearts, Sri Lanka and the Maldives will be great enemies. But we're fortunate. We're lucky. Or are we? No, I would call it the result of wisdom and professionalism. See, after all, we've always shared. We continue to share through thick and thin great blessings for which we can only be grateful. And that is where stay focused. That helps big time. And that is why I congratulate those of you who have made a conscious choice to do their MBA. So you want to do your MBA. What kind? Is it the general MBA we're talking about? Which covers just about every skill in that area? Or do you want to go and specialize in strategic planning and management? Do you want to go specifically into finance, become a CFO somewhere? Do you want to go into international business? Do you want to go into, that area, Dr. Atukorala, marketing, right? Do you want to go to marketing with conscience, with ethics in a professional way? Do you want to sell snake oil? And HR, oh, good heavens, in this world of increasing diversity in the workplace, do we know those skills? Do you want to handle the actual operation of an enterprise? Do you want to specialize in MBA with an IT flavor to it? Do you want to go into Entrepreneurship on your own. Do you want to even become a consultant? Do you want to start your own business? Or perhaps maybe an MBA looks good, that little certificate on the wall, which is what I call a prestige MBA. Whatever your reason, ladies and gentlemen, why? What are your reasons? Better career opportunities? We've heard that one. Social and professional credibility? Maybe, good reason. Entry into the world of business if you're not already there? Perfect choice. If you're there, better networking opportunities? Why not? MBA is the way to go. And then perhaps being your own boss even. And here are certain things that I really don't want to say, but that is there to say. Go and work overseas, maybe. And a word that I really don't like, emigration, perhaps. But again, there's a positive side to that as well. You can go outside, you can go work, send money home, right? Maybe better salary. Yeah, you're looking for that. So you want to do your MBA. Do it. Go out there, stay focused, stay hungry. Stay hungry for the knowledge, the skills that you're going to get. But just a humble suggestion, an idea, from an old man to a lot of young guys. They say that money makes the world go around, sometimes in circles, but that's okay. Have you ever considered the possibility that scientifically speaking, whatever you do, whatever I do, whether we exist or not, the world literally will keep going around. And that time frame is like billions of years until time runs out. And sometimes it's just a good idea not to let just simple purchasing power, or sometimes people call that money. Maybe you should sometimes say, no, I'm not going to let that and just that rule my life. Sometimes it's also good to stay focused on spending a little time, a quiet time on oneself, simply to enjoy and to be grateful for this opportunity called life, and a little quiet time of gratitude and the inner peace it brings. So ladies and gentlemen, dear students, I wish you the best of luck. You are at the right time, at the right place, probably the right age to go out there and make a positive difference in the lives of not only your own life or your families, but also the lives of whoever comes in contact with you. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me wish you the best of luck. Go out there, do your best, go get. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, sir. I mean, that is the quality of this gentleman whom I met 2 weeks ago in the marketing summit of the Maldivian edition. And from the time I met him, I knew I had to bring him to Sri Lanka. So initially it was going to be on Zoom, sir. And after that, we would like to host you in Sri Lanka. That's a kind of quality that you bring into the table. Ladies and gentlemen, the former Deputy Minister for Finance and Treasury, former Assistant Director of the Ministry of Education, former Election Commissioner, Government of Maldives. People call him Ogaru, Ibrahim, Waheed, Kalaavehi. Thank you very much, sir, and really appreciate. Is it okay if we take a few questions, sir?
Why not? You didn't tell me, but then okay.
No, there are some questions coming. One question, sir, that is been asked. It's on WhatsApp. Is they're saying that the world is in chaos, like you very rightly said, and what advice would you give to a youngster studying in Sri Lanka with so much of currency issues, the taxing issues, because of to bring some stability into the system, and of course political instability. Or just one simple advice would you give to a youngster just starting the MBA program?
Okay. Am I there?
Yes, sir. Very
wonderful.
clear.
Thank you. You see, I am no stranger to Sri Lanka. My mom, when I was growing up, she spoke fluent Sinhala. Of course, she had a little, Udarata Nona Mahanuara kind of accent, but she spoke fluent Sinhala. So I grew up, listening to that. And when you acquire a language like that, especially from your mother, you also pick up a lot of the culture and the history behind it. I'm no stranger to Sri Lanka. And what I best love about Sri Lanka, of course, you have a lot more than we have in the Maldives. Anything from mountains to your beaches. You drop a seed anywhere, it grows, except maybe in the central area. You have your gems, you have your rivers. Above all, you have your people. And I will always trust my people there. Oh, sorry, I said my people. Yeah, okay, you'll allow me that. And Sri Lanka has seen a lot. There was a time when they said that it was a hit and miss thing before the Japanese came and bombed Colombo. That was the Second World War. Things have happened. And believe you me, I trust my Sri Lanka and its people. Whoever it is that asks this question, trust yourself, trust your Sri Lanka, trust the people there, trust the spirit that moves Sri Lanka. You guys are going to come out of it. The advice is trust yourself. Be there, be strong. You're going to come out of the mess that not just Sri Lanka, that all of us are in. The idea is not to sit down somewhere and mope. The idea is to go out there and do what you can. That always helps. Believe you me, please have faith in this. We're all going to come out of this and we're going to be stronger.
Thank you, sir. Just one more question that has come, and he's saying, we from Sri Lanka admire how your brand of tourism has worked in Maldives and the kind of amazing things you have done to attract tourists into Maldives. And given that you're a former Deputy Minister for Finance and Treasury, is there one piece of advice you can give Sri Lanka's Treasury, given the current situation that we are in terms of economic debacle?
Oh, that's going into Sri Lankan politics, which I try not to do, But, instead of, anytime I say this, instead of a Sri Lankan politician, give me Wally Bastions. But the idea is this. If any, the only suggestion I can give is perhaps Sri Lanka can also metamorphosize, I guess. Maybe that's not the right choice of word, but maybe it can tweak, it can redesign its tourism model to become a high income earner tourism destination, just like we've done. I think the possibility is there. Dr. Atu Korala, you are sitting right there. You have tons of experience in tourism. And I'm sure your brain is already working on this. And if we can do that, redesign the tourism model of Sri Lanka, oh, good heavens, you'll leave us behind.
Thank you, sir. One last question, sir. I heard in your introduction that you were also head of the election monitoring mission, and you would have heard lately that an election at the municipal council level was for whatever reasons been delayed, and all sorts of excuses have been given. So the question that I'm asking you, this youngster is asking, is when you're on an IMF program, what are the key things that a private sector person must understand?
What's the connection between IMF and elections? I'm trying to figure that one out. But you see, with elections, my best partner in the elections game, as I call it in Sri Lanka, was the Honorable Mahinda Deshapriya. He is no longer with the Elections Commission there. He's with another commission. But then I know some of them who are already commissioners there at the current Elections Commission, and I think election system in Sri Lanka is in good hands, in fact. When you have factors other than the democratic aspirations of the people coming into play, I would even go as far as saying basic hooliganism, having its say in the electoral process. Well, that's something that everybody needs to pull together and solve for themselves, especially law enforcement. But as far as the IMF is concerned, I'm no expert in Sri Lankan finances, but my only take on that is sometimes you also have to take what the IMF has to say with a grain of salt. Sri Lanka has its share of well-seasoned financial experts. When you have IMF coming in and giving us a few terms, sometimes it's a good idea to get these experts out there on the field, with the key politicians supporting them, to engage with the IMF and then see something, a way forward. That's the only thing I can say.
Thank you very much, sir. I think you've done justice so much for these youngsters who are just starting their career. You brought in so much of new thinking, and one key thing that you said is go out there, make things happen, and trust yourself. And I think that's what Sri Lanka actually needs to take home. Thank you very much once again.
Can I say something else?
Please, sir.
I did my secondary school in primary and secondary here in the Maldives throughout. But you know what? All my teachers were Sri Lankan, except for the Devi language teachers. They're all Sri Lankan. So basically, you're looking at a Sri Lankan product. And this is why I tell you, young people out there, believe me, Sri Lanka is a country with a lot of possibility. Sri Lanka is a country which has proved time and again that it's a winner. Now it's like a relay race. The stick is in your hands, young guys. You go out there, don't drop it, run hard, you'll make it.
Thank you so much, sir. The former Deputy Minister for the Treasury and Finance in the government of Maldives, my very good friend, Ibrahim Waheed. Sir, we want you to come to Sri Lanka, and we want you to address us and spend some time with us. So we are going to do the logistics and we will get back to you, but thank you so much.
Mr. Ogaru, thank you so much. I believe your wise words and inspiration will indeed motivate our students as they step into another new journey, if I may say so. We understand that you must be very busy, and taking time all the way from Maldives just to have a word of inspiration to our students means so much to us. So with this, we have come to the end of this webinar. Like we always do, before the end of any session, I would like to invite our industry partners who are watching this to do let us know of any internships or job opportunities that you may have in your organization. Please feel free, because we have a well-structured program here at APIT, so we most welcome you to join with us. And so to our students, alumni, industry partners, and well-wishers, I'd like to thank you all for joining in to this MBA Diary session. Till we meet again, I'd like to wish you all a good day, good night, good evening from wherever you are joining in. So till then, take care.